Why do you walk through life like a ghost in your own story? Why do others command attention the moment they enter a room while you remain invisible? What makes a man unforgettable while another fades into the background of memory like morning mist? Write "I will be better now" in the comments if you're ready to discover the scientific truth behind magnetic presence. My friend, I am Napoleon Hill, and for over 2 decades I have studied the minds of the most successful and magnetic individuals who ever lived. From Andrew Carnegie to Thomas Edison, from Henry Ford to Theodore Roosevelt, I have decoded the secret formula that separates the unforgettable from the invisible. Today I will share with you the hidden laws of personal magnetism that can transform you from forgettable to absolutely magnetic. You see, there exists a fundamental difference between 2 types of men walking this earth. The first type moves through life creating ripples wherever he goes. Women remember his voice years later. Men seek his counsel. His presence lingers in rooms long after he's departed. The second type, and perhaps this describes you, passes through life like a shadow. Conversations end when he speaks. His opinions are quickly forgotten. He watches from the sidelines as others claim the spotlight he desperately craves. But here's what most people don't understand about magnetic presence. It has nothing to do with physical appearance, wealth, or social status. It's an invisible force that radiates from within, a frequency that resonates with the deepest desires of human consciousness. This magnetism is not born, it is built. It is not inherited. It is developed through the deliberate cultivation of specific mental and emotional patterns. Let me tell you about 2 brothers I encountered during my research, Marcus and Vincent Thornfield. They were identical twins, born minutes apart, raised in the same household, given identical opportunities. Yet their lives unfolded in dramatically different ways. Marcus became a man whose presence commanded instant respect. Women were drawn to his aura like moths to flame. Business partners sought his guidance. His name was spoken with reverence in social circles across 3 states. Vincent, his identical twin, remained perpetually overlooked. Despite possessing the same physical features, the same intelligence, the same background, he struggled to make lasting impressions. Women forgot his name within hours of meeting him. His opinions were dismissed. His contributions to conversations went unnoticed. The difference between these 2 men wasn't genetic, it was psychological. It wasn't about what they possessed externally, but what they cultivated internally. Marcus had discovered what I call the magnetic consciousness, a state of being that transforms ordinary men into unforgettable forces of nature. You must understand that human beings are electromagnetic creatures. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold creates an invisible field around you. This field either attracts or repels others. Most people unconsciously radiate frequencies of insecurity, neediness, and uncertainty. They broadcast their doubts and fears like radio signals, and others instinctively sense this weakness. But the unforgettable man, he operates on an entirely different frequency. His consciousness vibrates with certainty, purpose, and unshakable self-belief. When he enters a room, people feel his presence before they see him. When he speaks, others lean in because his words carry the weight of absolute conviction. When he's absent, people talk about him because his energy has left an indelible impression on their subconscious minds. The scientific truth is this: magnetic presence is the external manifestation of internal power. It's the visible result of invisible mental processes. Every charismatic leader, every captivating personality, every unforgettable individual has mastered the art of consciousness calibration. They have learned to tune their mental frequency to attract rather than repel, to magnetize rather than neutralize. Now, as Marcus and Vincent's story continued, an interesting phenomenon occurred. Vincent, tired of living in his brother's shadow, began to study the differences between them. He noticed that Marcus never sought approval from others. He radiated approval from within. Marcus never chased attention. Attention naturally gravitated toward him. Marcus never tried to prove his worth. His worth was evident in every gesture, every word, every moment of presence. The first principle of magnetic consciousness is what I call internal validation. The forgettable man constantly seeks external confirmation of his value. He needs others to tell him he's interesting, attractive, or worthwhile. This desperate need for validation creates an energy of lack that repels others. The unforgettable man, however, has established an unshakable foundation of self-worth that requires no external maintenance. His confidence is not dependent on circumstances or other people's opinions. It radiates from a deep well of self-knowledge and self-acceptance. Vincent realized that his entire life had been spent seeking validation from others. He would change his opinions based on who he was talking to. He would alter his personality to fit what he thought others wanted to see. This chameleon-like behavior, rather than making him more likable, made him forgettable because people sensed his inauthenticity. Marcus, on the other hand, remained consistently himself regardless of his audience. This authenticity created a magnetic pull because people trusted what they experienced with him. The second principle is purposeful presence. The forgettable man is everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. He has no clear direction, no burning desire, no definite chief aim. His energy is scattered, his focus diluted, his presence weak because he lacks a central organizing principle for his life. The unforgettable man possesses what I call concentrated consciousness. Every fiber of his being is aligned toward a specific purpose. This alignment creates an intensity of presence that others find both attractive and inspiring. Time itself bends around purposeful presence. When you have absolute clarity about your destination in life, every moment becomes charged with meaning. Your conversations carry weight because they emerge from deep conviction. Your decisions inspire confidence because they align with your core purpose. Your very existence becomes a testament to the power of focused consciousness. Vincent discovered that his lack of clear purpose had made him reactive rather than proactive in life. He was constantly responding to circumstances rather than creating them. Marcus, however, moved through life with the certainty of a man who knew exactly where he was going and why. This sense of purpose infected everyone around him with inspiration and possibility. The third principle of magnetic consciousness is emotional mastery. The forgettable man is controlled by his emotions. Fear, doubt, anger, insecurity, and neediness dominate his internal state and leak into his external presence. Others sense this emotional instability and instinctively maintain distance. The unforgettable man has achieved emotional sovereignty. He feels emotions fully but is not controlled by them. His emotional state is his choice, not his circumstance. This emotional mastery creates what I call stable magnetism. People are drawn to stability like ships to a lighthouse in a storm. When you represent emotional consistency and strength, others naturally want to be in your orbit. They feel safer, calmer, and more centered in your presence. This is why leaders, regardless of their field, must first master themselves before they can influence others. As Vincent delved deeper into his transformation, he began to understand that his forgettable nature wasn't a personality flaw, it was a programming error. For years, he had unconsciously programmed himself for invisibility through limiting beliefs and self-defeating thought patterns. He believed he wasn't interesting enough, attractive enough, or valuable enough to command attention. These beliefs became self-fulfilling prophecies, creating a reality that matched his internal programming. The process of reprogramming consciousness requires what I call definite decision. You must make a clear, unwavering decision about who you choose to become. This decision cannot be tentative or conditional. It must be absolute. The moment you decide with complete certainty that you will become unforgettable, your subconscious mind begins the process of aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with this new identity. Vincent made this definite decision on a Tuesday morning in October. He looked at himself in the mirror and declared with absolute conviction, "I am no longer forgettable. I am magnetic. I command attention through my presence. People remember me because I am memorable." This wasn't positive thinking or wishful fantasy. It was a declaration of war against his old identity and a commitment to building a new one. The fourth principle of magnetic presence is value creation. The forgettable man is primarily focused on what he can get from others: attention, validation, approval, or opportunities. This taking energy creates repulsion. The unforgettable man focuses on what he can give: insight, inspiration, entertainment, solutions, or emotional elevation. This giving energy creates attraction. When you enter every interaction asking, "How can I add value to this person's life?" rather than "What can I get from this situation?" you fundamentally shift your energetic frequency. People begin to associate you with positive emotions and beneficial outcomes. They remember you because you made them feel better about themselves and their possibilities. Marcus had always possessed this value creation mindset. In conversations, he listened more than he spoke. When he did speak, his words carried insight or inspiration. He remembered people's names, their challenges, their dreams. He followed up on previous conversations. He connected people with opportunities. He became known as someone who made things better simply by being present. Vincent began implementing this principle by shifting his focus from himself to others. Instead of wondering if people liked him, he began wondering how he could serve them. Instead of trying to impress others with his knowledge, he became genuinely curious about their experiences. This shift in focus created an immediate transformation in how others responded to him. The fifth principle is energetic alignment. The forgettable man's energy is chaotic and conflicted. His words say one thing while his body language communicates another. His conscious mind desires success while his subconscious beliefs program failure. This internal conflict creates a confusing energy signature that others find unsettling. The unforgettable man achieves complete alignment between his thoughts, emotions, words, and actions. This congruence creates a powerful and attractive energetic field. Every great leader I have studied possessed this quality of complete alignment. When Theodore Roosevelt spoke about courage, his entire being radiated courage. When Thomas Edison discussed innovation, his eyes sparkled with creative fire. When Andrew Carnegie talked about success, his presence commanded belief. This alignment between internal reality and external expression creates what others perceive as authenticity and power. The transformation of consciousness requires consistent daily practice. You cannot become unforgettable through sporadic effort or temporary enthusiasm. Magnetic presence is built through the compound effect of thousands of small decisions and daily disciplines. Every morning you must choose to operate from a place of strength rather than weakness, certainty rather than doubt, service rather than selfishness. Vincent established what he called his magnetic morning ritual. Each day began with 30 minutes of visualization where he saw himself operating as an unforgettable man. He visualized entering rooms with confidence, engaging in conversations with authority, and leaving lasting impressions on everyone he encountered. He paired this visualization with affirmations that reinforced his new identity. I am magnetic. I am memorable. I command respect through my presence. But visualization alone was insufficient. Vincent understood that transformation requires behavioral change. He began studying the body language of magnetic individuals. He noticed they stood taller, made stronger eye contact, spoke with more deliberate pacing, and used gestures that commanded space. He practiced these behaviors until they became automatic responses rather than conscious choices. The sixth principle of magnetic consciousness is temporal mastery, the ability to control your relationship with time. The forgettable man is always rushing, always stressed about time, always apologizing for being late or leaving early. His frantic relationship with time communicates low value and poor self-management. The unforgettable man moves through time with dignity and intention. He arrives early, stays present, and leaves gracefully. His mastery of time communicates high value and excellent self-discipline. Time is one of the most precious gifts you can give another person. When you give someone your complete, undivided attention, you are essentially saying, "You are important enough for me to invest my most valuable resource in this moment with you." This investment of attention creates profound emotional impact and ensures you will be remembered. Marcus understood this principle intuitively. During conversations, he put away his phone, maintained eye contact, and listened with his entire being. People felt heard and valued in his presence because he gave them the gift of his complete attention. Vincent learned to implement this practice, discovering that people began describing him as such a good listener and really present. The seventh principle is energetic leadership. The forgettable man waits for others to set the emotional tone of interactions. He matches the energy around him rather than creating energy himself. The unforgettable man takes responsibility for the energetic climate of every situation he enters. He brings positive energy to negative situations, clarity to confusion, and confidence to uncertainty. This doesn't mean being artificially upbeat or ignoring reality. It means being a conscious creator of emotional atmosphere rather than an unconscious reactor to circumstances. When you consistently elevate the energy of your environment, people begin to associate you with positive feelings and beneficial outcomes. As Vincent's transformation progressed, people began to notice changes in him. Colleagues started seeking his opinions in meetings. Women began remembering his name and initiating conversations. Friends started inviting him to social events he had previously been excluded from. The shift wasn't dramatic, it was gradual but undeniable. The key to Vincent's transformation wasn't that he became a different person, he became the fullest expression of who he had always been capable of becoming. He stopped hiding his light under the bushel of insecurity and began letting his natural magnetism shine through. This is the truth about unforgettable presence. It's not about becoming someone else, it's about becoming fully yourself. The eighth principle of magnetic consciousness is narrative control. The forgettable man has no story or tells boring stories about his life. He sees himself as a victim of circumstances rather than the author of his destiny. The unforgettable man crafts compelling narratives about his journey, his purpose, and his vision. He understands that humans are story-driven creatures who remember narratives far better than facts. Your personal story is one of your most powerful tools for creating memorable impressions. But it must be a story of growth, challenge, and triumph rather than complaint, victimhood, and defeat. People are inspired by heroes who overcome obstacles, not by victims who are defeated by circumstances. Vincent realized that his old story was one of limitation and excuse. He spoke about why things were difficult, why opportunities weren't available to him, why success was reserved for others. Marcus, however, told stories of challenges he had overcome, lessons he had learned, and goals he was pursuing. His narrative was one of continuous growth and unlimited possibility. The ninth principle is social proof creation. The forgettable man desperately seeks social proof from others to validate his worth. The unforgettable man creates social proof through his actions and achievements, then allows others to discover it naturally. This isn't about bragging or showing off. It's about building a track record of excellence that speaks for itself. When you consistently deliver value, solve problems, and achieve results, you begin to develop a reputation that precedes you. People talk about you in positive terms when you're not present. Your name becomes associated with competence and reliability. This social proof makes you magnetically attractive because humans are naturally drawn to proven winners. The 10th and most crucial principle is authentic power. The forgettable man tries to appear powerful through external displays, expensive clothes, name-dropping, exaggerated stories, or aggressive behavior. This manufactured power feels hollow and repels others. The unforgettable man radiates authentic power that comes from deep self-knowledge, clear purpose, and genuine confidence. Authentic power is quiet but unmistakable. It doesn't need to announce itself because others feel it immediately. It comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going. It's the power of a man who has done the internal work necessary to become truly valuable to himself and others. As Vincent's story reached its climax, something remarkable happened. His brother Marcus, who had always been the magnetic one, began asking Vincent for advice. The student had become the teacher, not through competition but through transformation. Vincent had discovered something that Marcus had possessed naturally but had never consciously understood: the scientific principles behind magnetic presence. The two brothers began collaborating, with Marcus providing natural intuition and Vincent contributing systematic understanding. Together, they became more powerful than either had been alone. Vincent learned that true magnetism isn't about outshining others, it's about helping everyone in your orbit shine brighter. The ultimate secret of unforgettable presence is this: people don't remember what you said or what you did, they remember how you made them feel. The unforgettable man makes others feel important, valued, inspired, and possible. He sees the potential in people that they don't see in themselves and reflects that potential back to them through his interactions. This is why magnetic individuals are surrounded by people who speak highly of them. They have invested in others' success and self-esteem. They have made deposits in the emotional bank accounts of everyone they encounter. When your name comes up in conversation, people smile because they associate you with positive feelings and beneficial experiences. The transformation from forgettable to unforgettable isn't a mystery, it's a methodology. It requires the deliberate cultivation of internal strength, the consistent practice of value creation, and the unwavering commitment to becoming the fullest expression of your potential. It demands that you take complete responsibility for the energy you bring to every situation and the impact you have on every person you encounter. But here's what most people don't understand about this transformation. It happens from the inside out, not the outside in. You cannot fake magnetic presence or temporarily manufacture unforgettable impact. It must be built through the painstaking process of character development, consciousness elevation, and authentic power cultivation. The forgettable man focuses on getting attention, getting approval, getting recognition. The unforgettable man focuses on giving value, giving inspiration, giving others a reason to remember him fondly. This shift from taking to giving energy is the fundamental transformation that separates magnetic individuals from invisible ones. Your consciousness is like a radio transmitter broadcasting on specific frequencies. Most people unconsciously broadcast frequencies of insecurity, neediness, and uncertainty. These frequencies repel others and ensure forgettability. But when you consciously tune your mental frequency to confidence, purpose, and value creation, you begin broadcasting magnetic signals that attract others and ensure memorability. The choice is yours. You can continue operating from the old programming that has kept you forgettable, or you can begin today to implement the principles that will make you unforgettable. The difference isn't talent, genetics, or luck. It's decision, discipline, and consistent application of proven principles. Vincent's complete transformation took 18 months of consistent daily practice, but the changes began appearing within the first 30 days. Small shifts in his presence led to noticeable differences in how others responded to him. These early victories created momentum that accelerated his progress and reinforced his commitment to the process. The man you see in the mirror today doesn't have to be the man you become tomorrow. Your past does not determine your future unless you allow it to. Your current level of magnetism doesn't define your potential for unforgettable presence. Every moment presents an opportunity to choose strength over weakness, purpose over aimlessness, service over selfishness. The scientific truth about magnetic presence is this: it's not a gift reserved for a chosen few. It's a skill available to anyone willing to do the internal work necessary to develop it. The principles are simple but not easy. They require daily practice, consistent commitment, and unwavering belief in your ability to transform. But the rewards for this transformation extend far beyond social success or romantic attention. When you become truly unforgettable, you gain access to opportunities that were previously invisible. People begin to think of you when possibilities arise. Your network expands because others want to be associated with your energy. Your influence grows because people trust your judgment and value your contributions. Most importantly, you gain something that cannot be taken away from you: genuine self-respect and authentic confidence. You no longer need external validation because you have established internal validation. You no longer fear being forgotten because you have made yourself impossible to forget. The path from forgettable to unforgettable begins with a simple but profound realization. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your experience. The moment you accept complete responsibility for your current level of magnetism, you gain the power to change it. As I conclude this message, remember that knowledge without application is merely intellectual entertainment. The principles I have shared with you today have the power to transform your entire existence, but only if you implement them consistently and persistently. Success is not an event, it's a process. Magnetism is not a trait, it's a practice. The man who becomes unforgettable doesn't do so by accident. He makes a definite decision to become magnetic, then backs that decision with daily actions that align with his chosen identity. He understands that transformation requires both vision and discipline, both inspiration and perspiration. Your journey from forgettable to unforgettable starts now, in this moment, with your decision to become more than you have been. The world is waiting for the magnetic version of yourself to emerge. People are waiting to be inspired by your presence, influenced by your vision, and elevated by your energy. As Napoleon Hill, I leave you with this fundamental truth: whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Your magnetic transformation is not only possible, it's inevitable once you align your consciousness with the principles of unforgettable presence. The forgettable man makes excuses. The unforgettable man makes progress. Which will you choose to be? Write "I will be better now" in the comments if you're ready to begin your transformation from forgettable to magnetic. Your future self is counting on the decision you make today. Don't let him down.